Hi, so today's video I want to talk about telling the truth. So just a minute, is that better? I think it is. Yeah. So telling the truth is not easy. In wanting to live a more authentic life, and I have been on this journey for a while. I was actually thinking about it. I really started on this journey when 9 years ago. But the first year was really like the honeymoon phase, I'd like to call it, just because it was so just like light and free and angels singing, and I've had moments like those, but the real work started in 2011, and it has been a doozy, but it's been so wonderful to get to be able to work on myself like this. And I feel like every year, every season, I just get deeper into myself. I face more of myself. I release more. It's a lot of work. It's not for the faint-hearted. It takes a lot of time, especially to unlearn things that you had previously learned, to change your perspective on things, to become more authentic. And one of the things that I struggled with a lot was telling my truth. For a lot of, not a lot, but for some reasons. I think 2 reasons, but we'll see if I'll add more. The first being that telling the truth, as much as I have shared before here, that I grew up in a pretty liberal home by Kenyan standards, there was still an element of, you do what you're told. It's not, you just don't live life like it's your own. There are people you have to think about, the people you have to please, that's your parents, your teachers, your pastor, there are always people. I'm sorry for that noise, and I hope it's not too crazy, but I'll just keep talking through it. I hope it's not too loud. Yeah, there are always people that you had to, it's almost like you're living for people, not just for yourself. And as much as I was in a liberal home, there was still a lot of that in my life. The other thing is and I think maybe that tied into it, I became a people pleaser pretty early on in my life. I always wanted to be someone who was good, well-behaved, And although I had a really stubborn streak, for the most part, I just always wanted to do what people wanted me to do. I wanted to please people. So speaking my truth, I became very passive-aggressive. In fact, a lot of my friends suffered from my passive-aggressiveness, because I never used to. I was actually talking to one of my friends about this. I had this habit, and I don't think it was conscious, but I would attract friends into my life who would be difficult people, the bitchy people, the outspoken ones, who basically meaning people who would have no problem speaking their truth, and sometimes being rude, or setting boundaries very clearly. I would attract those kinds of people, and I'd admire that so much about them. Even though a part of me was always like, oh my God, you're so difficult. And I used to play this role because this was before I'd really gotten to understand myself and to see my dysfunctional patterns. But I would be the nice person who would, walk around smoothing the feathers that this person has ruffled. So this would also add to my worth, my perceived worth. There's a word for it. I felt like it added to my value as a person, to my esteem. How people would see me, oh, Taruri is so nice, Meanwhile, it wasn't that I was nice. I wasn't any nicer than these people. Sorry, a phone call is coming. Yeah, so, what was I saying? No, I've lost my train of thought. Come back. Yeah, so it wasn't that I was nicer than these people. It wasn't that, because most of the time, actually, I would be thinking exactly the same things that they were saying. But it was just nice for me to see them say it, and for them, me to be not the nice friend, oh, the pious, angelic, with the halo, Tarure, who never gets upset. And even with my friends, it would be, if they ever did something that upset me or irritated me, I'd always want to be what they needed me to be. So if they needed someone who would listen to them talk and cry for hours, I'd run to their side and be that person. But then I got to the point where I started resenting it because I'm just like, my God, there's no space in this friendship for me. By then, it's not that I've communicated this, but I'm playing out a story in my mind where I'm being everything for these people, and then they're not being there for me. But I never gave an indication. And even if they would ask me, like, are you okay? Did I hurt you? I'd be like, no, I'm fine. So it was just this whole very interesting dynamic of me not being able to speak my truth because I wanted to people please. But in a way also this weird way of this dysfunction feeding me in a twisted kind of way, right? So it was just, I had to start learning to speak my truth, and it was hard. But what happened with my passive aggressiveness, by the way, was I got to the point where I was just like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm tired. So I actually started becoming a bit rude to people around me. Sometimes not a bit, a lot. But that had such a liberating effect, although it was very shocking and sometimes hurtful to the people around me. And I'm glad that a lot of us got past that. But it had this liberating effect of just being like, finally, I can speak up for myself. And even though to some extent I was going to a bit of an extreme, becoming rude, I started to come back into a middle where I feel like now I'm getting good at communicating my boundaries and speaking my truth, even if it doesn't make sense a lot of times, because I feel more than I think. And I think a lot, so you can imagine how much I feel. But I feel things before I think them, so things will happen, I'll feel a certain way, and I don't fully comprehend what it is that's going on. I have to sit with it and really feel into it, and then it comes together into a concept, and then I'm able to communicate it. But sometimes that process takes so long that I'm in a situation where I have to communicate, so I say things, and it doesn't come out as effectively as it would have if it was a full conceptualized thing. But then I still just accept that part of myself because I'm like, I have to communicate my truth. And it takes practice. It's something that you have to practice over some time. But I feel like the benefits of it are just so much better. I'm a person who also doesn't enjoy conflict, especially when I'm in the wrong. I really hate upsetting people. I hate hurting people. I hate being the one who does things to people. But I mean, if you live life, you're to some extent going to cause a bit of discomfort and hurt in other people's lives, especially if you're not aware of your shit. So that has been a difficult one for me, because I still feel it these days when I have to sit and look into the eyes of someone who I've hurt or upset. Oh my God. And my defensiveness comes, like, it's so, like sometimes it's even so quickly I don't realize it until I see the reaction of the person looking at me. But I'm learning to breathe into that. It's very uncomfortable for me. I'm learning to breathe into it and listen to what people have to say, and know that it's like, it doesn't mean that I'm a horrible person, or maybe I am, but it's okay. That's not the entire picture of who I am. Like, I really have to talk myself through it. But again, I'm also learning to, that one is the one that I'm still really working on. But I mean, it's telling your truth. It does save you from a lot of stuff. And I've noticed that, for example, let me give you a simple example. Let's say I feel like I've outgrown, or I'm not connecting with a certain person the way I used to connect with them. And this relationship or friendship is not something I want to be in anymore. I feel like, I think the season for this is over. In the past, I would kind of lie, you know, and so the person would be like, hey, I've missed you, can we link up? I'd be like, oh, I'm so busy, but yeah, I'll let you know. Oh my God, this week is so crazy, next week is so crazy, the other week is so crazy, but I promise I'll let you know once things calm down. I'd be like, yeah, I've missed you too, when can we link up? And then like 2 days before the thing, okay, I'm just giving away all the things I used to do, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, something has come up, I can't make it. But these days, I'm becoming very, like, I'm learning to have the uncomfortable conversations. I remember there was one particular, this happened years ago, and it was a thing that really taught me, because there was a particular friendship that I had, and I felt I was not connecting with this person. They were wonderful, but I was just like, you're not really my person. And I did the avoiding thing until it became obvious that I was avoiding them, and they were getting really hurt. And they were like, I mean, seriously, what's going on? It feels like you've withdrawn. And so now, on top of the lies that I've told, and then now, of course, it's become clear that I'm telling lies. Now I'm hurting this person from my behavior. And so I had to write like a letter to them and just explain what was going on and how I feel like the friendship had ended. It was so... I didn't enjoy it, but that taught me a huge lesson, and it took a while before it really sunk in, but I learned it's better to have the uncomfortable conversation before you have to do all those things to say the lie, then that has to then you have to build another lie to keep this lie intact. Like, it's just, you have to keep doing this cycle. When wouldn't it just be better if you sit down with a person and you're like, listen, I just feel like at this moment I'm not feeling like I can connect with you in this way. I feel like there's a difference in where we're at, and I need to honor that within myself. I still care about you, and I hope that, you know, life turns out good for you, but for me, I feel like this is where I need to be. That's a much better place to be, rather than taking someone around in circles and you're not really being honest with them, because that also can create insecurities in a person. You know, it can make them doubt themselves. It can hurt them. Like, instead of creating all that negative karma and just like all that craziness, it would be just so much better if you could just be honest with yourself. So I've rambled on, but what I mean to say in this video is, with practice, you can learn to speak your truth. And don't be afraid, and don't kick yourself too much if it comes out imperfectly, because you can only communicate it as good as you can communicate it. And as long as you're doing your best, also to come from a place of compassion and love as you communicate this, then you're doing what you can do. And with practice, you'll get better. So tell your truth, guys. Tell your truth. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tarure Gatere. I am sending you so much love, and remember, above everybody else, you deserve your own unconditional love and acceptance. See you in the next video.